Are aliens and UFOs actually time travelers? Is it possible that those extraterrestrials and spaceships people keep seeing are actually time travelers? The time-traveling UFO hypothesis tries to explain why there isn't any physical proof that aliens or UFOs exist. It seems to suggest that some of the things people say they have seen or met may have been people from the future with advanced technology. This theory tries to solve these contradictions and paradoxes without using hard-to-prove extraterrestrial theories. This video provides a new perspective on UFO sightings and alien encounters. The time-traveling UFO hypothesis is a relatively new concept, yet it has already gained significant attention. This theory suggests that humans from Earth in the future have used time travel to visit Earth in the past and are still doing so today. It is based on a number of assumptions and reasons, like the fact that the laws of physics don't completely rule out the idea of time travel. In addition, proponents suggest that it may be possible to achieve time travel by manipulating wormholes, black holes, or other unusual events. There are a number of things about UFO sightings that suggest they have something to do with time travel. For instance, a lot of UFO encounters involve objects that maneuver in ways that are impractical for regular aircraft. These craft may travel in ways that violate the laws of physics, accelerate quickly, stop suddenly, or change direction. If these vessels are from the future, it's feasible that they employ technologies, such as time travel-related ones, that we aren't yet familiar with. Missing time is another thing about UFO sightings that makes it possible that they have something to do with time travel. Numerous witnesses to alleged close encounters with UFOs describe periods of time during which they are unable to recall what happened. It's possible that these people's memories were purposefully changed or wiped if they were in the presence of time travelers in order to keep them from recalling crucial information. Lastly, there are many times when UFO sightings seem to be linked to important events in history. For example, there are several stories of UFO sightings during the Cold War, when the United States of America and the Soviet Union were at conflict with each other. If these sightings were caused by time travelers, it's likely that they were trying to stop something terrible from happening. Time travel could be used as a tool to facilitate scientific inquiry, by allowing scientists to observe events from the past that are difficult or impossible to recreate in a laboratory setting. It could also be used to gain insight into historical and cultural contexts, enabling us to understand better how our ancestors lived and think about their values and beliefs. Furthermore, future humans may have an inherent interest in learning more about their own past, and using time travel as an opportunity for exploration would allow them to explore these interests further. Of course, there would be some ethical considerations when using time travel. However, if done properly with respect for those living in the past eras, it could open up new possibilities and help humanity move forward along its evolutionary journey. People from the future might use advanced technology like cloaking devices and disguises, among other things, to hide their presence and identities from people living in their past. This would keep them from being found out by their predecessors and let them watch history without changing it. But they also have a responsibility not to mess with history or change it for their own benefit. By refraining from meddling with history as it naturally unfolds, future generations can continue to learn about our collective past and build on its successes, rather than erasing our progress through mischievous interference. But why do aliens look so different from us? Since the beginning of time, people have been adapting to their surroundings and learning new physical and mental skills in order to stay alive. As we continue on this journey of evolution and progress, future humans may seem unrecognizable or foreign even to our own ancestors due to the drastic changes they have undergone in terms of physical features as well as mental abilities. The development of these traits is a result of attempting to cope with various environmental factors such as climate change, resource depletion and disease outbreaks, as well as social conditions such as population growth and technological advancement. Because of this, it is likely that future humans will have traits that are foreign or hybrid compared to humans today. This is because they will have to change in order to survive in a world that is always changing. In the future, people may use complex tools and techniques to communicate with their ancestors, control them, or even kidnap them. This is due to the advancement of technology and intelligence that these future people possess, which surpasses what is currently feasible for humans. These high-tech tools could let people talk to each other from different points in time, giving them access to the knowledge of people from the past. They might also be able to manipulate their ancestors' actions by controlling their minds or bodies remotely using cutting-edge technologies like artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, robotics and augmented reality. Also, they might be able to take on the body of an ancestor by kidnapping them and putting them in a different timeline, where they would have access to information about the future that is not yet known in this timeline. If time travel did become possible, the possible effects on the timeline and the people and events in it would raise a number of ethical and moral questions. The idea of a temporal prime directive, which would set rules for how time travelers should operate in order to limit their impact on the timeline, is one approach to answering these problems. More and more people know about the Temporal Prime Directive because of science fiction, especially the Star Trek series. The instruction basically says that time travelers shouldn't impede history's normal course and shouldn't change people or events in a way that could have a big impact on the chronology. The time-related Prime Directive is based on the idea that even small changes in the past can have big effects on the present and the future. For example, if a time traveler was able to stop a major historical event from happening, it could have unintended consequences that would change the course of human history. A set of rules and regulations would be established by the Temporal Prime Directive for time travelers to adhere to in order to lessen the damage they have on the timeline. Some of these may be that you cannot speak with historical figures or use cutting-edge technology, that you must remain out of the spotlight, and that you must not alter the course of history. It's important to understand the concept of a Temporal Prime Directive because it shows the moral and ethical problems that would need to be solved if time travel were possible. Without rules like these, time travelers might seriously disrupt the timeline and the characters and events contained inside it. A framework for ensuring that time travel is used responsibly and for the greater benefit is provided by the Temporal Prime Directive. As a theory to explain UFOs and alien phenomena, the time-traveling UFO hypothesis has both pros and cons. This idea is in line with the anthropic principle, which holds that the universe is finely tuned to allow for sentient life to exist and that humanity's presence in the grand scheme of things is not a mere coincidence. The idea suggests that our lives have been planned out in some way and that we are part of a complex plan. This means that there is a bigger reason why people are here, which could be spiritual or scientific, depending on a person's beliefs. It also raises interesting questions about whether humans have any control over their destiny or if it was all preordained from the beginning. Ultimately, this principle supports the notion that there is something more than what we can see with our physical eyes, something beyond time and space, and encourages us to explore it further. The time travel UFO theory is compatible with the multiverse hypothesis. The idea of parallel universes, also called alternate timelines, says that our universe may have had many different outcomes and histories. It says that these different realities are linked and can be reached through time travel, so that people in the future will be able to explore them. This idea is compatible with the multiverse hypothesis, which states that our universe exists alongside an infinite number of other universes in a multiverse. Each universe has its own set of physical laws and constants, so there are many different ways each timeline could end. The more we learn about space and time, the more these theories open up new ways to explore and find things. The time-traveling UFO theory posits that the reason we have not seen any evidence of intelligent life in other galaxies is because they are actually visiting us from the future. This idea says that civilizations with much more advanced technology than ours can travel back in time to watch us, and we wouldn't be able to notice them. The Drake equation is a mathematical formula used to figure out how many civilizations are in our galaxy that can talk to each other across time and space. It takes into consideration factors such as population size, lifespan, and technology capabilities. If this equation supports the possibility of multiple advanced civilizations existing, then it is likely that at least one has developed a means for time travel. Therefore, with both theories supporting each other, this could explain why we have yet to discover any sign or indication of extraterrestrial life elsewhere in space. They are already here but invisible to us due to their ability to traverse through time. The hypothesis can be tested and shown to be wrong because it makes clear predictions and has clear ramifications that can be proven or disproven by real-world data and logical reasoning. The theory is speculative and debatable because it is based on a number of hypotheses and guesses that are not backed up by enough evidence or general agreement and may go against some accepted scientific or philosophical standards. The time-traveling UFO hypothesis does not solve many classical time travel problems, though. The grandfather paradox is a hypothetical situation in which a person travels back in time and kills their own grandparent, thus preventing their own birth. This is a contradiction, since the person wouldn't have been around to go back in time and do the act if they didn't exist. The bootstrap paradox is also like this, but it involves bringing something from the future back to the present. This can create situations where there is no clear origin for something that exists today, essentially creating an endless loop of cause and effect where everything has always existed without ever having been created or changed by anyone or anything else. Finally, causality loops are when two events cause each other, creating a cycle that repeats infinitely or until one of them breaks out of it. All three of these scenarios demonstrate how complicated and contradictory the hypothesis of time travel can be. One wrong move could lead to catastrophic consequences for oneself or others. In conclusion, the time-traveling UFO hypothesis is an exciting and fascinating theory that offers a fresh and different viewpoint on UFO and extraterrestrial events, but it also has a number of problems and limitations that call for additional research and examination. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to Connect Paranormal. This will allow us to make more videos. Thanks for watching.